Hey everybody, welcome back to Yehusha's Glory. Thank you all for coming back. We are in the book of Jasher, and we're in chapter 18. We're on page 330 in the book of Jasher. We're going to pick it up. I want to thank you all for being here. I have looked out there and I see some of you are viewing around 5 and 6 in the morning, and some around 11 and 12 and 9 and 10, and then sometime in the evening too. And I see that you're able to watch it for about 5 or 6 minutes at a time, 7 minutes. I think that's awesome. You're doing just what I asked you to do. Just listen to what you can, kind of digest it, and then come back later to it. I was a little late on this video. I'm about a day late. It's the middle of the night. I'm going to go ahead and record this. It's supposed to be out yesterday morning, but with kids and everything, I just didn't get it done. So I know you have plenty of other stuff to listen to on the other videos. So I just want to apologize if you are waiting for this particular portion. Here it comes, and it'll be up here in the next, it's definitely not going to be more than a couple hours late. It'll be the very next morning. In fact, when you wake up in the morning, it'll be there. So here we go. Chapter 18, Book of Jasher, in the Sefer, and it is page 330 if you have it. If not, just listen along. And of course, at the beginning of every chapter, there's a little kind of a paragraph to let you know what's going to happen. It says Abraham entertains 3 angels who eat with him. Sarah is promised a son, and then the people of Sedom and Amora, and of all the cities of the plain, they become very wicked. Okay, so here we go, picking it up. And Abraham rose and did all that Elohim had ordered him, and he took the men of his household and those bought with his money, and he circumcised them as Yehusha had commanded him. And there was not one left whom he did not circumcise. And Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised in the flesh of their foreskin. 13 years old was Ishmael when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And in the 3rd day Abraham went out of his tent and sat at the door to enjoy the heat of the sun during the pain of his flesh. And Yehusha appeared to him in the plain of Mamre, and sent 3 angels of his ministering angels to visit him. And he was sitting at the door of the tent, and he lifted his eyes and saw, and lo, 3 men were coming from a distance, and he rose up and ran to meet them, and he bowed down to them and brought them into his house. And he said to them, If now I have found favor in your sight, turn in and eat a morsel of bread. And he pressed them, and they turned in, and he gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he placed them under a tree at the door of the tent. And Abraham ran and took a calf, tender and good, and he hastened to kill it and give it to his servant Eliezer to dress. And Abraham went to Sarah into the tent, and he said to her, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes to cover the pot containing the meat. And she did so. And Abraham hastened and brought before them butter and milk, beef and mutton, and gave it before them to eat before the flesh of the calf was sufficiently done, and they did eat. And when they had done eating, one of them said to him, I will return to you according to the time of life, and Sarah your woman shall have a son. And the men afterward departed and went their ways to the places to which they were sent. In those days all the people of Sedom and Amora and of the whole 5 cities were exceedingly wicked and sinful against Yehusha, and they provoked Yehusha with their abominations, and they strengthened in aging abominably and scornfully before Yehusha, and their wickedness and crimes were in those days great before Yehusha. And they had in their land a very extensive valley, about a half a day's walk, and in it there were fountains of water and a great deal of herbage surrounding the water. And all the people of Sedom and Amora went there 4 times a year with their women and children, and all belonging to them, and they rejoiced there with timbrels and dances. And in the time of rejoicing they would all rise and lay hold of their neighbors' women, and some the virgin daughters of their neighbors, and they enjoyed them. And each man saw his woman and daughter in the hands of his neighbor, and did not say a word. And they did so from morning to night, and they afterward returned home, each man to his house, and each woman to her tent. So they always did, 4 times in the year. So they always did. Also, when a stranger came into their cities and brought goods which he had purchased with a view to dispose of there, the people of these cities would assemble, men, women, and children, young and old, and go to the man and take his goods by force, giving a little to each man until there was an end to all the goods of the owner which he had brought into the land. And if the owner of the goods quarreled with them, saying, "What is this work which you have done to me?" then they would approach to him one by one, and each would show him the little which he took, and taunt him, saying, "I only took that little which you did give me." And when he heard this from them all, he would arise and go from them in sorrow and bitterness of soul, when they would all arise and go after him and drive him out of the city with great noise and tumult. And there was a man from the country of Elam, who was leisurely going on the road, seated upon his ass, which carried a fine mantle of diverse colors, and the mantle was bound with a cord upon the ass. And the man was on his journey passing through the street of Sedom, when the sun set in the evening, and he remained there in order to abide during the night. But no one would let him into his house, and at that time there was in Sedom a wicked and mischievous man, one skillful to do evil. And his name was Hadad. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the traveler in the street of the city. And he came to him and said, "Whence come you, and whither do you go?" And the man said to him, "I am traveling from Chevron to Elam, where I belong. And as I passed, the sun set, and no one would suffer me to enter his house, though I had bread and water, and also straw and provender for my ass, and am short of nothing." And Hadad answered and said to him, "All that you shall want shall be supplied by me, but in the street you shall not abide all night." And Hadad brought him to his house, and he took off the mantle from the ass with the cord, and brought them to his house, and he gave the ass straw and provender, while the traveler ate and drank in Hadad's house, and he abode there at that night. And in the morning the traveler rose up early to continue his journey, when Hadad said to him, "Wait, comfort your heart with a morsel of bread, and then go." And the man did so, and he remained with him, and they both ate and drank together during the day. When the man rose up to go, and Hadad said to him, "Behold, now the day is declining. You had better remain all night, that your heart may be comforted." And he pressed him so that he tarried there all night. And on the second day he rose up early to go away, when Hadad pressed him, saying, "Comfort your heart with a morsel of bread, and then go." And he remained and ate with him, and also the second day. Then the man rose up to continue his journey. And Hadad said to him, "Behold, now the day is declining. Remain with me to comfort your heart, and in the morning rise up early and go your way." And the man would not remain, but rose and saddled his ass. And while he was saddling his ass, the woman of Hadad said to her man, "Behold, this man has remained with us for 2 days, eating and drinking, and he has given us nothing. And now shall he go away from us without giving anything?" And Hadad said to her, "Be silent." And the man saddled his ass to go, and he asked Hadad to give him the cord and mantle to tie it upon the ass. And Hadad said to him, "What say you?" And he said to him, "That you, my lord, shall give me the cord and the mantle made with diverse colors, which you did conceal with you in your house to take care of it." And Hadad answered the man, saying, "This is the interpretation of your dream. The cord which you did see means that your life will be lengthened out like a cord, and having seen the mantle colored with all sorts of colors, means that you shall have a vineyard in which you shall plant trees of all fruits." And the traveler answered, saying, "Not so, my lord, for I was awake when I gave you the cord, and also a mantle woven with different colors, which you did take off the ass to put them by for me." And Hadad answered and said, "Surely I have told you the interpretation of your dream, and it is a good dream, and this is the interpretation thereof. Now the sons of men give me 4 pieces of silver, which is my charge for interpreting dreams, and of you only I require 3 pieces of silver." And the man was provoked at the words of Hadad, and he cried bitterly, and he brought Hadad to Sirach, judge of Sedom. And the man laid his cause before Sirach, the judge. When Hadad replied, saying, "It is not so, but thus the matter stands." Then the judge said to the traveler, This man Hadad tells you truth, for he is famed in the cities for the accurate interpretation of dreams. And a man cried at the word of the judge, and he said, Not so, my lord, for it was in the day that I gave him the cord and mantle which was upon the ass, in order to put them by in his house. And they both disputed before the judge, the one saying, Thus the matter was, and the other declaring otherwise. And Hadad said to the man, Give me 4 pieces of silver that I charge for my interpretations of dreams. I will not make any allowance, and give me the expense of the 4 meals that you did eat in my house. And the man said to Hadad, Truly, I will pay you for what I ate in your house. Only give me the cord and mantle which you did conceal in your house. And Hadad replied before the judge and said to the man, Did I not tell you the interpretation of your dream? The cord means that your days shall be prolonged like a cord, and the mantle that you will have a vineyard in which you will plant all kinds of fruit trees. This is the proper interpretation of your dream. Now give me the 4 pieces of silver that I require as a compensation, for I will make you no allowance. And the man cried at the words of Hadad, and they both quarreled before the judge, and the judge gave orders to his servants, who drove them rashly from the house. And they went away quarreling from the judge. When the people of Sedom heard them, and they gathered around them, and they exclaimed against the stranger, and they drove him rashly from the city. And the man continued his journey upon his ass with bitterness of soul, lamenting and weeping. And while he was going along, he wept at what had happened to him in the corrupt city of Sedom. Okay, next coming up, the abomination of the people of Sedom and Amora. 2 angels are sent to save Lot. The cities of the plain and all their inhabitants are destroyed by fire. So chapter 19, page 332, the Sefer. Chapter 19. And the cities of Sedom had 4 judges to 4 cities, and these were their names: Sirach in the city of Sedom, Sharkad in Amora, Zavnak in Admah, and Menon in Sevolim. And Eleazar, Abraham's servant, applied to them different names, and he converted Sirach to Shakra, Sharkad to Shakrura, Zevnak to Kezovaim, and Menon to Matzlodin. And by desire of their 4 judges, the people of Sedom and Amora had beds erected in the streets of the cities. And if a man came to these places, they laid hold of him and brought him to one of their beds, and by force made him lie in them. And as he lay down, 3 men would stand at his head and 3 at his feet, and measure him by the length of the bed. And if the man was less than the bed, these 6 men would stretch him at each end. And when he cried out to them, they would not answer him. And if he was longer than the bed, they would draw together the 2 sides of the bed at each end until the man had reached the gates of death. And if he continued to cry out to them, they would answer him, saying, Thus shall it be done to a man that comes into our land. And when men heard all these things that the people of the city of Sedom did, they refrained from coming there. And when a poor man came to their land, they would give him silver and gold, and cause a proclamation in the city, the whole city, not to give him a morsel of bread to eat. And if the stranger should remain there some days and die from hunger, not having been able to obtain a morsel of bread, then at his death all the people of the city would come and take their silver and gold which they had given to him, and those that could recognize the silver or gold which they had given him took it back. And at his death they also stripped him of his garments, and they would fight about them, and he that prevailed over his neighbor took them. They would after that carry him and bury him under some of the shrubs in the desert. So they did all the days to anyone that came to them, and died in their land. And in the course of time, Sarah sent Eleazar to Sedom to see Lot and inquire after his welfare. And Eleazar went to Sedom, and he met a man of Sedom fighting with a stranger. And the man of Sedom stripped the poor man of all his clothes and went away. And this poor man cried to Eleazar and supplicated his favor on account of what the man of Sedom had done to him. And he said to him, Why do you act thus to the poor man who came to your land? And the man of Sedom answered Eleazar, saying, Is this man your brother? Or have the people of Sedom made you judge this day, that you speak about this man? And Eleazar strove with the man of Sedom on account of the poor man. And when Eleazar approached to recover the poor man's clothes from the man of Sedom, he hastened, and with a stone smote Eleazar in the forehead. And the blood flowed copiously from Eleazar's forehead. And when the man saw the blood, he caught hold of Eleazar, saying, Give me my hire for having rid you of this bad blood that was in your forehead, for such is the custom and the law in our land. And Eleazar said to him, You have wounded me, and require me to pay you your hire? And Eleazar would not hearken to the words of the man of Sedom. And the man laid hold of Eleazar and brought him to Shachar, the judge of Sedom, for judgment. And the man spoke to the judge, saying, I beseech you, my lord, thus has this man done, for I smote him with a stone, that the blood flowed from his forehead, and he is unwilling to give me my hire. And the judge said to Eleazar, This man speaks truth to you. Give him his hire, for this is the custom in our land. And Eleazar heard the words of the judge, and he lifted up a stone and smote the judge, and the stone struck on his forehead, and the blood flowed copiously from the forehead of the judge. And Eleazar said, If this then is the custom in your land, give you unto this man what I should have given him. For this has been your decision, you did decree it. And Eleazar left the man of Sedom with the judge, and he went away. And when the kings of Elam had made war with the kings of Sedom, and the kings of Elam captured all the property of Sedom, and they took Lot captive with his property. And when it was told to Abraham, he went and made war with the kings of Elam, and he recovered from their hands all the property of Lot, as well as the property of Sedom. At that time the woman of Lot bore him a daughter, and he called her name Paltith, saying, Because Elohim had delivered him and his whole household from the kings of Elam. And Paltith, daughter of Lot, grew up, and one of the men of Sedom took her for a woman. And a poor man came into the city to seek a maintenance, and he remained in the city some days. And all the people of Sedom caused a proclamation of their customs, not to give this man a morsel of bread to eat, and he dropped dead upon the earth, and they did so. And Paltith, the daughter of Lot, saw this man lying in the streets, starved with hunger, and no one would give him anything to keep him alive, and he was just upon the point of death. And her soul was filled with pity on account of the man, and she fed him secretly with bread for many days. And the soul of this man was revived. For when she went forth to fetch water, she would put the bread in the water pitcher, and when she came to the place where the poor man was, she took the bread from the pitcher and gave it to him to eat. So she did many days. And all the people of Sedom and Amora wondered how this man could bear starvation for so many days. And they said to each other, This can only be that he eats and drinks, for no man can bear starvation for so many days, or live as this man has, without even his countenance changing. And 3 men concealed themselves in a place where the poor man was stationed, to know who it was that brought him bread to eat. And Paltith, the daughter of Lot, went forth that day to fetch water, and she put bread into her pitcher of water, and she went to draw water by the poor man's place. And she took out the bread from the pitcher, and gave it to the poor man, and he ate it. And the 3 men saw what Paltith did to the poor man, and they said to her, It is you, then, who has supported him, and therefore he has not starved, nor changed in appearance, nor died like the rest. And the 3 men went out of the place in which they were concealed, and they seized Paltith and the bread which was in the poor man's hand. And they took Paltith and brought her before the judges, and they said to them, Thus did she do, and it is she who supplied the poor man with bread. Therefore did he not die all this time? Now therefore declare to us the punishment due to this woman for having transgressed our law. And the people of Sedom and Amora assembled and kindled a fire in the street of the city. And they took the woman and cast her into the fire, and she was burned to ashes. And in the city of Admah there was a woman to whom they did the like. For a traveler came into the city of Admah to abide there all night, with the intentions of going home in the morning. And he sat opposite the door of the house of the young woman's father, to remain there, as the sun had set when he had reached that place. And the young woman saw him sitting by the door of the house, and he asked her for a drink of water, and she said to him, "Who are you?" And he said to her, "I was this day going on the road, and reached here when the sun set. So I will abide here all night, and in the morning I will arise early and continue my journey." And the young woman went into the house and fetched the man bread and water to eat and drink. And this affair became known to the people of Admah. And they assembled and brought the young woman before the judges, that they should judge her for this act. And the judge said, "The judgment of death must pass upon this woman, because she transgressed our law, and this therefore is the decision concerning her." And the people of those cities assembled and brought out the young woman and anointed her with honey from head to foot. Hey, something just popped into my head here. This is amazing. They have laws where you can't feed the poor, like homeless people. And I swear I just saw in the news where it's illegal to feed to give money or for food to the homeless now, to feed the homeless people. So I don't know. I just realized that, and I wanted to mention that. Anyhow, 42, page 334, Sefer Jasher book. Okay. And the people of those cities assembled and brought out the young woman and anointed her with honey from head to foot, as the judge had decreed. And they placed her before a swarm of bees which were then in their hives. And the bees flew upon her and stung her, that her whole body was swelled. And the young woman cried out on account of the bees, but no one took notice of her or pitied her, and her cries ascended to heaven. And Yehusha was provoked at this and at all the works of the city of Sedom, for they had abundance of food and had tranquility amongst them, and still would not sustain the poor and the needy. And in those days their evil doings and sins became great before Yehusha. And Yehusha sent for 2 of the angels that had come to Abraham's house to destroy Sedom and its cities. And the angels rose up from the door of Abraham's tent after they had eaten and drunk, and they reached Sedom in the evening. And Lot was sitting in the gate of Sedom, and when he saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed down to the ground. And he pressed them greatly, and brought them into his house, and he gave them victuals, which they ate, and they abode all night in his house. And the angel said to Lot, "Arise, go forth from this place, you and all belonging to you, lest you be consumed in the iniquity of this city, for Yehusha will destroy the iniquity." For Yehusha will destroy this place. Verse 49. And the angels laid hold upon the hand of Lot, and upon the hand of his woman, and upon the hands of his children, and all belonging to him. And they brought him forth and set him without the cities. And they said to Lot, "Escape for your life." And he fled, and all belonging to him. Then Yehusha rained upon Sedom and Amora, and upon all these cities, brimstone and fire from Yehusha out of heaven. And he overthrew these cities, all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. And Ado, the woman of Lot, looked back to see the destruction of the cities, for her compassion was moved on account of her daughters who remained in Sedom, for they did not go with her. And when she looked back, she became a pillar of salt. And it is yet in that place unto this day. I'd like to see that. So evidently there's a pillar of salt somewhere in that area, and that happens to be this woman, Ado. 54 verse. And the oxen which stood in that place daily licked up the salt to the extremities of their feet, and in the morning it would spring forth afresh, and they licked it up again unto this day. So evidently this says that her big pile of salt, the ox would lick it down to the feet, and by the next day it grew again, like it just kept reappearing. Anyway, Lot and 2 of his daughters that remained with him fled and escaped to the cave of Adullam. And they remained there for some time. And Abraham rose up early in the morning to see what had been done to the cities of Sedom. And he looked and beheld the smoke of the cities going up like the smoke of a furnace. And Lot and his 2 daughters remained in the cave, and they made their father drink wine. And they lay with him. For they said, there was no man upon earth that could raise up seed from them. For they thought that the whole earth was destroyed. And they both lay with their father, and they conceived and bore sons. And the firstborn called the name of her son Moab, saying, from my father did I conceive him. He is the father of the Moabim until this day. And the younger also called her son Ben-Ami. He is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So it looks like they got him drunk. They thought it was the end of the world. They plotted to get Abraham drunk. They both got pregnant, basically. So anyway, verse 60, page 334. And after this, Lot and his 2 daughters went away from there. And he dwelt on the other side of the Jordan of his 2 daughters and their sons. And the sons of Lot grew up, and they went and took themselves women from the land of Canaan. And they begat children, and they were fruitful and multiplied. Now here comes the next paragraph here that tells you what's going to happen. Abraham goes to the land of Palestine. Palestine. And again tells the people that Sarah is his sister. Avimelech, the king, desires her for a woman. An angel warns him and commands him to return her to her man. The whole land is afflicted on account of the matter, and Sarah is restored to Abraham, who entreats Yehusha to heal the people of Avimelech. Okay, and I'm going to stop it right here, and we'll pick it up on chapter 20 on the next one. This will be the next lesson, so I don't want you to miss that. Just go ahead and listen as much as you can, and then hit pause, go back to it, and try and digest as much as you can. If you have any questions, obviously put those in the questions below. I do see you out there looking and watching. I can see the different countries that people are looking from and watching, and I appreciate that. And most of all, Father appreciates it. I'm hoping that when I read this, you're understanding it well, and I'm hoping that you're getting something from it. If one of you gets something from it, it's a huge blessing for all of us. So anyway, thank you for watching the Yehusha's channel, Yehusha's Glory channel, and we'll be back next time. Take care. Talk to you soon.